Hi, it's Joe Busuttil. I'm a managing director at Goldman Sachs and director of internal audit.
Joe, would you tell us a little bit about the your career path in reaching your current position as director of internal audit?
Sure. I graduated from Baruch College in January of 1987, and over the course of the past 23 years, I've worked at a couple of different firms in a number of different positions. I started my career as a public accountant at Coopers & Lybrand and spent approximately three and a half years in that position. I then joined Goldman Sachs in 1990 in their controllers department in a function known as product control, which is a group that supports and does the financial analysis, both financial and risk analysis for the trading divisions. Spent about 6.5 years in that position, really focusing on our commodities business, and in some ways became very technical and more of a product expert in our commodities business. I then left the firm and went to a few of our competitors within the financial service industry for about 2 years, rejoined Goldman Sachs back in 1998, and have been with the firm ever since. During that remaining 12 years, I spent approximately 5 or 6 years in controllers and had worked my way to be the assistant controller of the organization through 2004. In 2004, I left controllers and joined one of our producing divisions. Specifically, I was the COO of our investment management division. I spent 2 years in that capacity, and then had the opportunity to relocate to Japan and became our CFO of our Asia operations based in Japan from 2006 to 2008. In the summer of 2008, I returned back to New York and assumed my current position as Director of Internal Audit.
Our students are always interested in what is the best career path for reaching your position.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend that they start in public accounting or go directly into an internal audit group? Is there one path to success?
You know, I get that question quite a bit, and my short answer would be no. I don't think there is, a specific path that one needs to choose, particularly coming out of school. I am a little bit biased, and I think that the public accounting path is a terrific path. In many cases, you get quality training, you have exposure to multiple clients, and so it certainly is a terrific career path, and one that I chose myself when leaving Baruch College. That said, I think moving directly into private practice in an accounting function or an auditing function can be equally rewarding.
Is internal auditing a career path to other opportunities at Goldman and other firms?
I think accounting and auditing specifically really provide you with a terrific foundation. There's the old adage that accounting is the building blocks of business or finance, and it really does hold true. I think the accounting and/or auditing profession allows you to see businesses from a totally different perspective. You get to see and challenge business decisions. You're on the sort of inside of what makes a product or a business successful. And it does allow you to see businesses in ways that you would not have if you were purely on the producing side. I do think, however, that you need to leverage that experience and think of things differently. If you take a very narrow view as simply the auditor and look at it in a one-dimensional manner, I think there will be limitations to where you can go. But if you have a very open mind, think a little bit more commercially, I think the upside and the opportunities are significant.
What are your responsibilities as Director of Internal Audit, and what are the responsibilities of those reporting to you?
Well, I have a very unique role, and as any Director of Internal Audit has, in that I have a a solid reporting line into the audit committee, and the audit committee is comprised primarily of non-executive directors, so not executive management. However, in that capacity, I function day in and day out within the same organization as people who are not in internal audit, and so I have a administrative line into the executive office, and in my case at Goldman Sachs, I report into general counsel. And so the audit function has that very unique relationship of reporting into non-executive directors of a public company, in my case, but at the same time reporting in administratively into management. So in that regard, in many ways, the internal audit department is sort of the eyes and ears of the non-executive directors. So my responsibilities really focus on ensuring that really three things. One, that the audit department is looking for risks throughout the organization, so we're looking in the right places. Our audit programs and our analysis would suggest that we're finding the right types of things, so we're very focused on evaluating the right controls in the organization. And then thirdly is once we do that, are we telling the right people? So I think of it really quite simply as, are we looking in the right places? Are we finding the right things? And are we telling the right people? And in telling the right people, again, you have to balance that with telling management, including the direct line managers and the executive office, as well as the audit committee and the non-executive directors. To communicate your issues at those different levels of management is very, very important. In that same line of thinking, the responsibilities of the staff are really to understand the business. And that's probably the biggest challenge any auditor has, is understanding the business at the level of the individuals who are responsible for that business. Very difficult for someone in an audit capacity to come into an area and understand it as well as the primary person responsible for the business who lives in it day in and day out, when you have all of 2 or 3 months to get in, do your audit, and come out. So the level of understanding is just in general a particular challenge. And in my case, working at a financial service firm, where the complexity of our business is in many ways at a different standard than a lot of other industries, plus the natural evolution of our products make it incredibly difficult to stay current. And at this point in time, the changing regulatory landscape makes it even that much more challenging for your typical auditor to be as close to the business and as knowledgeable about the business as one would expect and one would hope for them to be successful in their role. If there was one thing that I would encourage people to focus on, is being as technical as possible in the industry that they're involved with.